We'll find out.
I thought Reggie was coming.
I thought so too, but well, you know what? We are live. My name is R. Jones, and welcome to another episode of Untitled. Of course, I'm here. I'm the host and slash moderator, and joining me is my man. Was from the Bronx, now resides in the Carolinas. My man Dom. What's up, Dom? How you feeling?
Good evening, Mr. Jones.
All right. Oh, and look who you brought up. We just talked about this guy a few seconds ago. Probably
the
bowling.
Reginator.
The Reginator is here as well. Reg, what's up, man? Your mic
is
is live.
It is I. Welcome, gentlemen. Glad to be here with you guys. Sorry I missed y'all last week.
Yeah, exactly. We know that with your bowling, of course, as usual. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
I'm struggling to get to 210.
You're the consummate bowler. I mean, how could you struggle with that? I don't understand that at all.
It's rough. It's rough out there on them lanes, dog.
I hear you, man. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for joining me as always, and I think we're gonna get this started. Yo, big news in boxing. Something got signed officially for July 29th in Vegas. This is a fight that every boxing fan, even casual fans, have probably wanted this to go down. And for it seemed like years, there was some snafus, some maybe ducking, whatever you want to call it, but it did not happen until 2 months from now, where it's going to go down, the unification of the welterweight titles. I think this is going to be a great fight. I like Spence, and I know, God rest his soul, Max 611, he loves Spence as well. But Crawford, I I love Crawford, but there's one thing that worries me, and that's his age in this fight, because they always say that boxing is a young man's game. Now, we might have a few exceptions to that rule. I don't know. Is Terence Crawford one of those exceptions, as good as he is?
It's a scary fight for both of them, to be honest with you, because
really, why is that?
Yeah, I think both of them could take each other out at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Me, Southpaw, I'm gonna go. I like Spence. I like Spence for a long time. I think he would have been even better had he not had that unfortunate accident.
Right.
That's my take on that.
Okay.
But Crawford is. Remember how back in the day when nobody wanted to fight Benitez?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is who Crawford is.
So you feel that nobody wants to fight Terence Crawford at this point?
No.
Okay.
Crawford is a beast, man.
He is, but again, that age factor, my dude, that's the only thing.
That means he's experienced.
Okay, experience, age. He's an old man in a young man's sport.
He's seasoned.
So who are you picking? Who are you taking, brother?
Me?
Yeah, you. I'm asking you. Yeah.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah, tough question.
It is, but look, I like Spence. I like Spence a lot. So I'm gonna just go with Spence.
So you're gonna stick with Spence. Okay.
I'm gonna stick with him.
Okay, I can respect that. I'm just saying, man. I like Crawford, but again, I can't get past that age thing. I know that maybe that's foul of me, whatever the case may be, but I think I'm gonna have to ride with Spence. You know, I think I'm gonna have to ride with Spence on this one. You know. Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Where Don went?
He's here somewhere. He's probably he's there. He's laying off.
Oh, there you go.
Probably
every time you start off with this fight should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me always think: is it like one of those too little, too late? It's just me. You hear this too much, and you started off like that, right? Not that you meant to, but Dominic and Reggie should have fought 30 years ago,
right?
And now here we are in wheelchairs, and
he said wheelchairs.
That part gets old with boxing, man. You know, it's like, remember I always go back to remember the conversations we had, like when we were just on the phone.
Right.
And we be talking about boxing and, oh, man, these guys should have. And then Max and me would argue about,
right.
Oh, it's not like it used to be when the best guys fought. Everybody ducks. There's 101 belts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think, I don't know. Crawford, I hate to use the word age, experience, and all that good stuff.
But it is what it is.
Yeah,
it
is what it is. Good analogy, y'all.
I'm just saying.
And it ain't like he's 40 years old. It's funny. I think Reggie brought up Benitez. And I just posted that not long ago on my.
Yes, you sure enough did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, and this guy was the youngest guy to ever hold 2 belts. Won his first belt at 17.
Nobody wanted to fight him.
And you know what, Red? Go into that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened then, and it's still been dragging on to now. This Reggie don't want to fight R don't want to fight Dominic.
Right.
I have a belt, so I'm kind of happy.
Right.
It's weird.
Right.
Boxing is weird, man. It's very weird nowadays.
Yeah, it's more like to me. I'm not a big boxing fan, as we all know. Red. I'm not.
Right.
But it seemed like it evolved more into being a business than you're the best boxer in the world. I'm supposed to be the next best boxer in the world. Yeah. Let's find out. Nobody wants to do that anymore.
No. And I think, Reg, that is what took me away from boxing.
Right.
Again, we're all old enough to remember the number 1 contender was the champ.
Yes.
Right. Cut and dry. It wasn't no ducking, dodging, weaving. Number 1 fought champ. And so on and so on. And Scooby-Doo.
Because even when it wasn't between the number 1 contender and the champion, you used to have really good matches, like the number 2 guy, the number 2 ranked guy would fight maybe the number 7th ranked.
Right.
You understand? You had those type of fights, which is very entertaining as well. And they would try to rise up through the ranks. The ones that were ranked lower.
And didn't it move the charts, Reg? Like if Red, when number 2 fought 7 and 7 won, he wasn't 7 on Monday.
No, he moved up.
Just like college basketball, you beat the number 1 seed.
Right.
Exactly.
That's not like that no more. It's so much ducking and dodging and
like I said, it's a business. These people want to make money.
This is true. Well,
they waiting for that big purse.
Exactly. Here's our boy, Mr. Bishop. What's up, brother? Your mic is live.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Mr. B, what's good, Bishop?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, just talking about this fight, brother. It's going down July 29th in Vegas.
Yeah, if it does.
Why do you say if? You think it's not going to go down?
Hasn't this been like a tease for like the last 3 to 5 years?
It has been, but it's officially signed. If it's officially signed, I don't think they reached that plateau before. With the little teasing. So if it's officially signed, if it's official, I don't understand why it wouldn't go down unless there was an injury or something like that happened. But other than that, it should go down.
Yeah, I got Crawford.
You got
I got Crawford.
You know what? You got Crawford. I took Spence only because you don't think that Terence is a little long in the tooth. And his last fight he fought a virtual nobody. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, does that make him a little? Oh, good.
No, go ahead. Finish what you say.
Oh no, I'm just saying he fought a virtual nobody. When's the last time that he's gotten in the ring with somebody that? And I get he is ultra talented in the ring, so there's nobody that's really going to be on his level like that. But at least try to be a little bit competitive. This guy he last fought, and I think that was in 2022 if I'm not mistaken. But he was a bum. He was a nobody. You don't think that adds a little? I don't want to say chink in the armor, but the lack of competitiveness for pretty much a long time, an extended amount of time, that could come back and hurt him. Plus, he's a year older. I'm just saying. I got to throw that out there.
How old is he? How old is Crawford?
If I'm not mistaken, he's 34, either 33 or 34. You know what I'm saying?
So when you watch his fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you got to pay attention to is like by the second round, he's already figured the opponent out.
This is true.
what he's in there doing is he's in there getting work and punishing the dude. Like there's times when he could have dusted somebody off in like the second or the third round, but he keeps him in there lingering until the sixth or the seventh round, just punishing them and dismantling the opponent, like basically breaking the guy's will. And it's like, yo, you don't see too many guys that they enjoy it. Like it's not just about me physically beating you.
Right.
I want to change your life. Once you get out of this ring, you're gonna learn something, and you're never gonna want to get in the ring with somebody like me, because I'm gonna change your life. That's why I'm saying, like, there's a few boxers right now that you, and I know you guys are saying like they ducking or whatever. There's a good reason why this fight hasn't happened. There's a really good reason why, and I got it. Granted, Spence had the automobile accident or whatever, but prior to that, prior to him when he was at the top of his game, sort of, this fight should have happened. There's a reason why it didn't happen. It's because they know that even though Spence he's okay, ring generalship and skill set, he's pretty decent. I'll give him that. But he's never been in the ring with somebody who can match and supersede his technical skill, and also has power in both hands. And whatever your strong suit is, this is another thing too. Like if you come in there and your strong suit is right hooks or body shots or like combinations, by the time he's finished with you, your strong points, you no longer want to do that because of what's coming back. So there's not too many fighters that you can see like Mayweather used to be like that as well. It's like when you're in the ring and the ring gets smaller, like because the things that you're good at you can no longer do because what's coming back. So it's like, okay, well if you throw a jab and he gonna throw a hook, and every time you throw a jab, he throw a hook, and that hook is catching you every single time, and he's timing it like it's, by the time your jab is halfway there, his hook is already hitting you. So it's kind of like I don't think Spence is ready for that, and I think Errol, I think Crawford has been waiting for this for quite some time, and I think not only is he going to beat him, but he's going to embarrass him.
Wow. Okay. Well said, brother. Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, just like I'm sure many casuals might be looking forward to it as well. But again, I'm gonna take Spence, and we'll see. And like I said, this is nothing against me having something personal against Crawford. I think Crawford is a true beast in the game. There's no question about it. But I'm just saying, I think it's it's a young man's game. Spence is immensely talented as well, and I think that talent will shine through on that night. So
you remember that fight that he had? Who did he fight? A left-handed dude, the one who retired. Errol Spence fought. What's this guy's name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it.
And the dude was touching him up. He was touching him up, but he doesn't have any power. He doesn't have any power, and he was still able to get in there. He turned the fight a little rough. He was still able to get in there and touch him up. And Sean Porter.
Okay.
So when Errol Spence fought Sean Porter made the fight like rough, and he touched him up quite a bit, but he just didn't have the power to get him out of there.
Right.
And there was a lot of mistakes that Spence like made when the fight was like brought to him. And Crawford is like, yo, I don't know, like sometimes when you watch these fights, there's certain fighters that it's just like, yeah, that dude, Timothy Bradley was like that, Bernard Hopkins was like that, Andre Ward, like these guys get in there and it's like, yo, it's not just about beating you, like I'm gonna break you down. I'm gonna make you, by the time this fight is over, you're not gonna want to fight anymore. You're gonna be questioning like what is this the right move for me? The next move for me, you know?
Right.
And you see how when and I give you a typical example. Remember when Andre Ward fought Kovalov, the big dude, the knockout artist?
Yeah.
Kovalov. He fought it. Yeah. Like both times he fought him, it's like the second time it was just about like, am I sure? Like, did this really happen to me? Did this really happen to me? Because all before that, everybody was scared of this dude. Kovalov, everybody was scared of him. Until Andre Ward came in there and basically broke him down round by round. And it was crazy. It was beautiful to see because it was like everything that you thought that you were going to come in here and do.
Right.
It's like I gave you so much punishment that you abandoned that because it's like, yo, like every time I do something that I'm good at, he's embarrassing me and he's hitting me with hard shots. So I can't even do what I'm accustomed to doing. Right. That's the beauty about real boxing.
Okay. I feel you, man. You know, and that fight. Good.
No, I'm saying maybe this might be a culmination for Crawford. Like maybe Spence might bring out like the best in him. But I'd be really leery if you want to bring out the best in the dude that his joy is inflicting punishment. That's his joy.
All right. So, okay. Like I said, we're gonna see soon enough, guys. You know, so thank you for everybody's opinion on that. We're gonna do some moving on to the NBA.
I got some money.
No, I'm not betting you.
No, I got Crawford.
You got Crawford?
Yeah.
I got 100 beans, right?
Nah, I'm good.
I mean, yo, there's some single moms that need some baby formula.
Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. That's all right. I'm not betting no more. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm good. So let's move on, guys. Let's go to the Atlanta NBA. Some news here. Carmelo Anthony announcing his retirement after 19 years in the NBA. God bless, man. I mean, he had a hell of a career. No titles, of course, unfortunately. I know later in his career he was trying to chase that title by joining the Lakers. And that's it. I mean, the man's a premier scorer throughout the NBA. If I'm not mistaken, let me see how many total points he had. I believe it was over 22,000. Yeah, 28,289 career points.
So what, he's like 10th now?
Let's
9th, 10th?
I think he's 9th or 10th. Yeah, marked top only by 8 other players in league history, so he's 9th in scoring. You know,
Where's the rent in that?
That's a good question. Let me find out.
By the time Durant if Durant is not in this top, if he's not in those top 8, he gonna be moving down a few. Durant's gonna be up there.
Let's see where Kevin Durant is, man. But what can I say about Carmelo, man? I mean, the one thing I will say, great. Like I said, he wasn't the greatest defensive player. We know that. I get that. You know what I'm saying? And really, honestly, I think sometimes he gets a bad rep on that, believe it or not. You know, I'm not saying he's a defensive stopper, but I thought he was a pretty decent help defender. You understand? Okay. Really?
I love that go-to line.
I'm gonna say this about Melo. His best defense was his offense.
Jesus, man. Come on, guys.
It's cliche, but it was.
It is what it is.
I think
them guys going against him wasn't doing what he was doing.
No, as he got later on in his career, it started.
Oh, later on in his career, but when he was a pup in Denver, dudes couldn't keep up with him.
Nah, he was giving it out. He was giving, even when he was in New York, he was giving it out.
Yeah,
he was built for New York. It's not a lot of players that are built for New York.
This is true.
Melo was built for New York. Right. It just so happens that Phil Jackson and
company.
Yeah, and his fluckery that kind of like, wanted to wanted Porzingis to step into that limelight role, and Porzingis wanted no parts of it.
Right.
No parts whatsoever. And it's just like, I'm not saying build a team around them, but we could have at least been competing in the playoffs consistently if they would have put some players around them.
that answer again. Oh God.
You don't think so? You don't think so? I mean, when Michael Woodson was there,
I look at Carmelo Anthony. He's that guy. You know, you either love him or hate him, and his stands outlasted any stand in NBA history. There was no greater following than the cult following of Stay Mellow. But I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing if he had more players. The Knicks made it to the second round this year with what? Smoke and mirrors. Come on. Well, I will always look at Carmelo, and people will probably call you and write you. I'll always look at him as a great scorer. That's it. You know, the guy's 6'8", average what? I think 5-6 rebounds his whole career. Probably 2 assists. Damn the defense. I can't go back on what I always say to Bishop. When Bishop always brings up, this guy don't play defense. Nobody plays defense in the NBA. So I'll let that part go with Melo. His career to me ended when Roy Hibbert blocked his shot. And the Knicks went away for the next 10 years. That one block shot, the Knicks disappeared for 10 seasons. And here's the other strange thing about Melo. I couldn't have did it if I was Melo. That I love New York, blah, blah. Homeboy, you're from Baltimore. Let's put that out there right now. You saw, as Bishop so greatly put, the Phil Jackson fiasco. But it was time to leave or re-sign. Who did he re-sign with? The Knicks. Again, a conversation me and the late, great Mark Cunningham had. Melo never caught on to what other guys were doing with the 2-year contract, opt out after 1. He never did that. He took the long term, he took the dough, and now you're in misery in New York, and we're going to say, we didn't build around him. When we gave up a shitload of picks just to get him.
And I was just about to get to that point, Dom. I was just about to get there. I was about to go there.
Jamal Murray. Just say the name Jamal Murray.
Well,
he is lighting up the playoffs right now. Jamal Murray.
Dom, you make a real good point.
Was a part of that trade.
Yeah, you make a good point because where was Melo coming from? What team was he come from? Yeah, and Denver plays no fucking D. They way back since. Way back
but here's
since.
the scary thing, Bishop. All of that Denver stuff, which he was great on Denver. I thought that was his calling. I did. But one, he forced his way out. So he never became a free agent. Now he's a Knick. The Knicks extend him. Now he's a free agent. We're all seeing this lunatic Phil Jackson who couldn't run a bicycle race. And you extended? You read up with this nonsense?
You know what?
You took the money. You took the 4 or 5 year contract, big bucks, when there was a bunch of teams. Think about this guy. Back then, the Lakers were trying to get him. The Bulls were trying to get him. These were good teams at that time. They weren't the Knicks. Let's be honest. I already said Roy Hibbert block changed the Knicks franchise for the next 10 years.
So wait a minute. So you don't think that he was coming to New York anyway? If that trade did not happen, you don't think he would have came? You don't think he would have came to New York? Because my thing
probably
is,
would have.
My
probably
thing
would have,
is,
but guess what?
Donnie Walsh did the right thing when he was GM. You understand? He didn't want that to go down. He didn't want that to go down.
Dolan did.
Exactly. And I'll tell you this right now, because at this time I was a Knicks fan. They had a team. And when I say that, they had a team of players playing together. Right. You understand what I'm saying? The chemistry was
they were about 8-9 deep, easy.
Bro, that chemistry on that team was lit. You understand? And then when they made that trade, I was like, you gutted the freaking team for one guy?
Right.
You could have
for a guy that was coming next year anyway.
Right. Exactly. I wonder, I just can't help but wonder, but think what that team would have been, how the New York Knicks would have been had they kept that core of players that they didn't send away. You understand what I'm saying? Playing with Melo.
Right. Say what you want. Raymond Felton wasn't Nate Archibald.
No.
But at that time, Raymond Felton was probably one of the best point guards we had since Mark Jackson. I'm not saying he was Nate Archibald.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I feel that.
When you look at the lineage, from Phil Jackson, Rod Strickland, who was the point guards?
Yeah, there was
Marbury. He had one leg out, one leg in, one leg out. Everybody we got after that was crazy.
Yeah, Frankie from France.
Yeah. Then you got
That was not a point guard. Don't ever say that in your life ever again.
That's what he was drafted at, Reg.
I'm saying Stephon Marbury was one of the best that we had. Just too bad that we had that idiot Larry Brown in the helm. When it's like, yo, like, dude, like, who was willing to sacrifice losing to prove a point. So I'll give
But all
Stephon
that being
Marbury
said,
a pass.
Bishop, we fast forwarded from that. We get this Carmelo Anthony, this game-changing NBA superstar. What did he change, guys? We got out the first round one time,
right?
And then that one block shot set us back 10 years. Between that one block shot and Phil Jackson, we got set back, no lie, guys, 7 years. Phil Jackson set us back 5 years on his own.
Basically.
I think about, let me tell you something, guys. This is what annoys me, and maybe the reason I finally got over some of my anger. Denver Nuggets are going to the championship. Can't debate that no more. Their point guard is a product of the stupid-ass Melo trade. And one of their top flight players, Michael Porter Jr., was drafted after Kevin Knox. Michael Porter Jr. is in the championship. Kevin Knox is on a milk carton. This was Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson.
Yeah, but you can't equate those two because again, it's what I'm saying.
As a Knicks fan,
you also have to take into consideration where Michael Porter Jr. is, what he's went through, the journey that he's went through.
Right.
In New York, he wouldn't have lasted if he came in and he had back surgery and he had to sit out for like a year and a half, and then they didn't have an offense. Like, he's a 7-footer that the only thing that you can do is shoot. You can't guard nobody.
Nobody could guard nobody, Bishop.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's not what you say, Bishop.
That's not true.
You say that night in, night out.
Nobody guards nobody, Bishop. Come on, get off that. That's like a get out of jail free card. Nobody plays defense in the NBA. Nobody.
Matador defense. Matador defense.
Thank you,
7-footer, and you can't even.
He ain't
stop
7 feet.
guard.
He ain't 7 feet.
What, is he 6'10"?
You can't.
He's a forward.
You can't really even say that. You can't really even say that
like,
about nobody plays defense.
Murray, even with Jamal Murray,
plays defense.
That's what he keeps preaching. But in the next series,
think about this, guys.
In the next series, he's gonna be like, well, maybe I made a mistake.
He gonna see what? He gonna see defense. He gonna see defense by who? Yeah. Miami can't match up with that. But let's go back to Michael Porter Jr. and let's go back to his bad back. The Knicks were going nowhere. If anybody would have had patience, it could have been the Knicks. You had patience with
the Knicks. Never have
patience. Couldn't get out his own way. Who every year had to go get an oil change to get a new motor. So you forfeited. Okay, I'm gonna let this guy sit on the bench for a year for this guy who couldn't do. Where is he now? Is he in the NBA?
He's with Detroit.
Is Kevin Knox in the NBA?
I think he's with Detroit or
no. I think he's on Portland. Yeah, he went to Portland last I heard.
So, but you got to take into consideration as well, if the Knicks would have got Michael Porter Jr. and he just drafted him and he just sat on the bench, then the Knicks fans would have been like, "Hey, you got this guy and he can't contribute anything. You don't know what he's going to produce, and you just wasted a draft pick." So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You wasted it with Kevin Knox.
Well, it would have been wasted
with Kevin Knox. Why did we draft Kevin Knox, Bishop? You remember what Phil Jackson said?
I don't know.
Why did we draft Kevin Knox? Reggie, you remember?
No, I don't. I can't say that I do.
He's a good kid.
Right, and that's it.
He's a good kid.
What? They was trying to change the culture in New York at that time? I don't get it.
He was a good kid. And Frank Ntilikina had a long wingspan. This was Phil Jackson. Right. So, again, I would have, if you saw this kid play, and you watch him play now. There's just some guys that you can just see could play ball. And if he had to sit on the bench for a year, and Knicks fans knew that, if they watched this kid in college and they watched the fluid way he played and the shot he had, his ability to go to the basket, and again, we weren't going nowhere. Phil Jackson had us. What did Phil Jackson tell us? Derek Williams, Robin Lopez, and a follow was the new culture of the Knicks. And then we drafted Kevin Knox.
I still can't because if you looked at Michael Porter, but I'm saying if you looked at Michael Porter Jr., He had the back issue in college.
Yeah, he did.
He had the back issue in college where he had to miss some time, and then he had the back issue, the back surgeries or whatever. So Denver could afford to
and now he's going
have
to the
him have the surgery. But I'm saying Denver could afford to let him have the back surgeries and miss that time because they had guys. They got the offense doesn't revolve around him.
But they still weren't going nowhere, Bishop.
He's a plus. But I'm saying
they was a good team. So if anybody had patience, and guess what? They had the patience.
Right.
They worked with this kid. They worked with Murray. They worked with Joker. All these guys are draft picks, guys.
They're all the Knicks don't do that. The Knicks don't do that. The Knicks were not going to do that. The Knicks never will do that.
Do you think Michael Porter Jr. would be the same Michael Porter Jr. if he was on the Knicks?
Hell no.
The same that he's on Denver? Absolutely not. He would have been probably out of the league.
We might in another asylum. He wouldn't have been out the league. We might have went in a different direction because he wasn't out the league trying to get his back together with Denver. Denver had the patience. 3 of their top players, grown players.
I mean,
going to the championship, and every one of them except Joker had season-ending injury. Murray missed what, 2 years?
Right.
He missed almost 2 years. And you only had Joker out there.
Bro, I mean, my thing is like this. You're talking about how Porter might have been different in New York. You might not be seeing the same type of success as he's seeing in Denver and whatnot. But here's the thing. In New York, you got Obi Toppin out there hoisting up 3-pointers. So they needed to afford this guy. If Porter was on the Knicks management, the Knicks coaching staff, they should have afforded him time to get his game right.
Like
what's the point? I mean, come on. You know, I'm just saying.
It's easy.
We can't. He would have been in the nut house. We can't predict the future.
No.
But when you look at the trajectory of this kid, like Bishop said, hurt back coming out of college, signs a max contract 2 years later, max extension, back surgery, out another season. All of this is happening, and then Murray goes down. This is an organization that said, you know what, you know what, Bishop, we have faith in you. You get right. You get right. We got your back. And they're in the NBA championship. We cannot debate that part, that when these kids got healthy, look what they did. I mean,
right.
And what did we do, guys? I mean, I know we flipped the subject. We were talking about Melo.
The best thing that happened was them getting hurt. Because I don't think Jokic would have developed. I don't think Jokic would have developed the way he did.
Yeah.
We wouldn't see what he's doing now.
He had all of that. He had all of that in his bag.
Pick.
So some of those moves, he had all of that in his bag. You don't just go from one season to the next season and develop all. He had all of that in his bag. Like all of those moves, he had all of that in his bag. He just was satisfied with doing the bare minimum and just surviving in the league. That's what he was satisfied with until he got pushed to do the other stuff. And then once people started seeing,
better, Bishop.
Hey, no, this guy is like,
got better.
Nah, Dom,
I know you
some of those moves.
I know you hate to admit it.
No.
Better.
I'm giving him his props. I'm giving him his props. I'm saying
no. And what I'm saying is because Murray got hurt.
Embiid's a joke. He proved it in the playoffs once again. And I know the regular season, the award is for regular season. And guess what? Joker still outplayed him. His team had a better record. And now you look, the smoke has settled. He's going to the championship. Embiid's going home. But you know what? In his press conference, he said, damn, I wish R would have scored more points. 15. R should have did better. I'm the MVP of the league, highest paid player. But R should have did better. He's a fraud, man. He's a fraud.
But I'm saying, if you look at the MVP, so the MVP stopped really counting. It stopped really counting back in 2005 because the MVP stopped being based on whether or not you earned it in merit. It started being based on narrative. So when you say MVP,
a lot of people benefited from that narrative. Yeah.
It's based on the narrative and not based on the merit of who earned it. Because again, Steve Nash, 2-time MVP. Who else is Giannis, 2-time MVP.
What about Curry?
Joker.
And
Yeah,
Curry.
Time
Curry.
MVP.
Curry was anonymous, but he was anonymous.
Curry earned
Yeah.
it. Curry earned that. But I'm talking about since 2005, they made a mockery of the MVP. So I don't even like. It's irrelevant. And who's voting for MVP? MVP is being voted by sports writers.
Yeah, the same people
And-
that
and
badmouth
sports
him all
announcers.
year
And sports
voted for him.
who?
We turned
Nobody
this-
badmouth. So from the beginning of the season, the narrative has been before the ball even bounced, either Doncic or Joker will be winning the MVP, and all throughout the season, only thing you heard regurgitated out of everybody's mouth is that Doncic and Luka and Joker are the front runners for MVP. The two of them are the front runners for MVP.
Oh,
Now,
that changed
then
as
you
the year
start.
went on.
Then you start getting Then they started moving the goalposts. To say to make it more advantageous. Oh, this guy plays more games. This guy does this, or this guy does that, and then started moving it in a pandemic era when you had guys who were out for COVID protocol and COVID related illnesses and so forth. Now you're going to start saying it's based on how many games the guy played. Or I can't vote for somebody who hasn't played this amount of games.
They both played the same amount of games.
They started moving the goalposts. They started moving the goalposts. And each time it's like it's based on something else. Something else. So it just so happens that Embiid.
Let's put the cards on the table, guys. I know nobody wants to say it, but nobody wanted a white guy in the NBA to win the MVP 3 years in a row. Let's just be honest. Mark Jackson said, "Oop, I made a mistake" when he left him off the ballot.
Right.
I made a mistake. But when somebody when somebody brought up
Perkins.
It wasn't. I know he brought it up, but it actually came to fruition because when Mark Jackson did his voting, people jumped real quick. Oh shit! Now it's not a race issue. You left probably the best player in the league. That took 5 minutes, and he said, "Oh, you know what? I forgot. It wasn't position." I'm like, the fuck did he think he was voting for? Really?
But that's not why he said that, though. That's not why he said that, Dom. That's not why
he said.
But I'm saying that's not why he walked.
I made a mistake. I didn't know I didn't vote for him because I was thinking position.
I know he said it, but the rationale for why he said it is because
he got caught, Bishop.
No, Mark Jackson is trying to get back into coaching.
He got caught.
No. Mark Jackson is trying to get back into coaching, and what some of these same sports writers and sports announcers decided was they're going to create the narrative. It's like, again, if I chose who I chose, it's based on my personal opinion. Like, who the hell are you to tell me that I should put somebody on there that I believe is not my top 10 or my top 5 or whatever it is? It's your personal opinion. That's just like people will say LeBron.
You just finished saying, Bishop, that we lost all credibility because it became a narrative. And okay,
no, he said his top 10, his top 5, or whoever. He chose his top 5. He chose his top 5. So it's his prerogative to choose his top 5.
Why didn't he stand on that? Why didn't he fall on that sword, Bishop?
Because they called him out.
Because somebody
trying to get back into coaching.
Race.
No, he's trying to get back into coaching, and that's not a good look. Yo, you got how many vacancies you got? How many coaching vacancies you got? And Mark Jackson is trying to get back into the good graces so he can get one of those spots. So that's why he walked that back. Because in any case, he could have said, "Yo, I chose who I chose. I chose who I chose. I said what I said, and shut up." It's like, yo, shut up.
I went to the Bishop School of Thought, and I didn't think Joker was a top 5 player. He could have said that, and I'd have been, damn, Bishop really got to somebody. Don't change in the middle of the race.
But
if he wasn't on your top 5, he wasn't in your top 5. Y'all all saw the movie Top 5?
Yes.
With Chris Rock, with the rappers, who's your top 5?
Right.
Remember that movie?
Right.
Everybody had a different opinion. KRS-One.
Right.
Rakim.
Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, whatever.
Right.
Everybody had their own choice, and they stuck to it. Mark Jackson couldn't do that. I was going to call Bishop and ask Bishop, "Yo, Bishop, did you get the Mark Jackson?" No, I'm proud of you, man. You got this.
No, but I'm saying
he couldn't land on his sword.
But I'm saying you walked that back. He walked that back. Let's think about it.
Fall
But I'm
on your
saying,
sword, man.
just think about it. Just think about it. If you're trying to get back
He's
into the
a
coaching
clown.
ranks, but I'm saying if you're trying to, yes, I agree. That part is true. That part is
He's a clown.
100% true because you're
He
gonna.
doesn't need to get back into coaching,
But
bro.
I'm saying you're gonna stand on your soapbox in Golden State and talk about how people are living and their lifestyle or
Right.
whatever, but then
Right.
you're being extorted. But then you're being extorted by a hooker or a
Exactly.
prostitute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Don't
you
nobody
holding gospel.
don't
You holding
nobody hit me up
sermons.
on don't nobody
Right.
hit me up on Twitter. But when he
Right.
started with how he felt about lifestyles, you know what? I was like, wow, somebody's finally honest. I don't have to badmouth something to not agree with the style.
Right.
But then, like Bishop says, out there with his drawers in the air. Oh
Exactly.
damn, you blew my golden opportunity, man.
Exactly.
To say,
Mhm.
wow, just fall on your sword, man.
That's
Right.
it.
He
That's
can't
it.
do that. That's the problem. We had this conversation last year.
Yeah.
He'll never be a coach again.
No matter how much he tries to get in a good
If
graces
he would
now.
have said what he said in Utah, all right, we might have blew that off in a year.
Right.
But he
Might
said it
have.
in one of the most gayest communities.
Well, there
In
you
San
go.
Man.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Reg.
With
He
with
was
with,
cooked.
with a bunch of
Champion.
right, but I'm saying with a bunch of turncoats who gave verbatim what he said,
Right.
word for word. Here's the tape. I got it on video. Here's exactly what he said. So it's like, yo, the dude from Sirius XM in the mornings.
Hell
What's
yeah.
the tape? Brian whatever
Right.
from the Celtics. It's like, yo, dude, like you turncoat. It's like, yo, dude, he gave them, and it's like you thought that you were gonna win some favor. After you did that, they got rid of you too.
Exactly.
They
You
got rid
talking
of
about
you too.
you talking about Scalabrine?
Yeah, Scal.
Scalabrine.
Yeah,
He was an
Like, yo, they got
assistant
rid of-
coach. Remember Bishop?
Yes,
Mhm.
he's
He
the
was
one
an
that gave the
assistant coach.
goods. He's the
Right.
one that went to management and gave the goods and was like, yo, this dude is in here talking about this, giving
Yeah.
sermons and all of this
Mhm.
stuff and yada yada yada. And it's like, dude, number one, you can't bring your
Right.
personal opinions about things.
No.
You live in a secular world. You are being
Mhm.
paid. You are in a secular environment.
There you
If
go.
you don't agree with what they're doing, that's fine, but just don't be a part of it. Just say, hey,
But-
I respectfully decline.
You know
I
what,
respectfully
Bishop?
decline.
Scalabrini came out smelling like Calvin Klein cologne after that. Look at him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at
Everybody
that.
done forgot. You know, what's that old saying? Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, listen, exactly.
This brother
Snitches
got a
get
promotion over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
Yeah.
He got
Went back
he
to
got
it,
his
yeah.
face on every garbage can in Boston.
Right.
For real. For real.
Guys, let's do some moving on. Still staying, and this is much. I
Well,
promise you.
before we
Okay.
move on, I just want to clear. Yo, Dom, I'm giving Joker his props. Like Joker has
No,
been
you're
out playing.
not. He can't play
Dude,
defense. You've been saying it every morning, man.
He
Come
does
on.
not play on offense. On offense, he is a supreme talented center. On
Reg,
offense,
Reggie,
absolutely.
what do I say every morning when we talk about basketball? Oh, damn, Bishop's gonna wake up and talk about some damn defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody
sure
laughs
enough.
until Bishop wakes up.
Offensively, he fits the bill. Offensively,
Okay.
he fits the bill.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Oh,
On the defensive end, he can't guard a parked car.
Okay. Well, with that being said, let's move on. And this is much ado about nothing. I had to talk about this briefly. You guys want to talk about it briefly? We can. I saw this, and somebody brought this to my attention. A welfare check on Memphis Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant. And when I first saw this, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, "Is he scamming people?" Because I was thinking actual welfare check. I'm like, "Are you serious?" But this is the welfare check that applies to this is, you're going to check on somebody's welfare, their well-being, so to speak,
Right.
because supposedly, there was some, I think it was on Instagram, some media posts that he was saying goodbye. And that into, oh my God, we're worried about his health. Somebody go check on him. I first saw that and I was like, seriously, and I get it. Maybe I shouldn't make light of this because, on social media, I mean, you can if you're under some type of duress or whatnot, and people are coming at you and whatnot, you could reach out, you could lash out and be like, you know what, F this and F that, screw this and screw the world. And next thing you know, you're 6 feet under. We've seen that. You know what I'm saying? We keep it a buck. We've seen that. So maybe I shouldn't be kind of like making light of it. But at the same time, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yo, come on. All he was doing was saying goodbye to social media. And has he really done it? I don't know for sure. He may have shut down his IG. If he did, good for you. But more than likely, honestly, and this is horrible to say, I think he'll probably return to it anyway at some point down the road. Once this blows over, once this whole controversy blows over, he'll be back.
The boot off your car.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He's a social media whore.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like creating fucking drama.
But my whole thing with this is, again, not going to make light of the subject, but
I am.
Nobody put a gun to you.
I will.
Nobody put a gun to your head to do what you did.
Right.
What, again, like I'll ask again, what exactly did he do that was wrong? Because again, me displaying a firearm is not a crime.
Right.
Unless I'm a felon. Unless I'm a felon.
Again, as I said before, they have morality clauses in their contract.
How does that violate? How does that violate?
There's certain things. Okay, because you are representative, whether or not you want to believe it. You're representative of that team, of that franchise.
Correct.
So
in this organization,
of that organization. So guess what? And the league itself. But guess what? You're costing that organization money, not only costing yourself endorsements, this, that, and the other, but that's hurting the team also.
And now
what?
Ask yourself, the narrative that the media is creating, the narrative that the media is creating around this, because just the fact that I'm displaying a firearm is not illegal. He hasn't been charged with a crime. He hasn't been. There's no police investigation. There's nothing. So just the act of me displaying a firearm,
now
the media. Yeah.
Now, when you say you're displaying, now you live in the South. Both you and Dom live in the South. And we already know how it is down south with carry. Okay,
we still have to carry it legally,
correct?
Yeah, right, no doubt.
Gave me a bishop a gun.
Y'all stupid.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it a buck now. You guys can carry, okay?
Correct.
Concealed, okay? Now
you go to class. Here's
the thing: if you're carrying and you display it, even if you open a jacket or you lift your shirt, whatever the case may be, but that's displaying. When you're waving it around, come on. You can't tell me there's no difference in that, bro.
Dude,
you
gotta cap.
All right, I'm going to take two different approaches. One, the approach Bishop is talking about, because I feel the same way. He didn't do nothing illegal. Here's where politics and the snowflakes and the soft shoe people come in. If John Morant was a black driver in NASCAR, wouldn't nothing be said.
No.
Because NASCAR is more right-leaning, gun possessions, blah, blah, blah. That's that side of it. Don't bring up the mental health thing. Don't do that. That's an insult to me, and that's an insult to 22 vets a day that commit suicide. I've never heard of one NBA player committing suicide because he was so stressed out. Not one. So stop using that. We had this conversation before with Ben Simmons. Remember?
Yes.
Everything was wrong with Ben Simmons. His knee, his back, his head, his nose.
Right.
Then when they said you were fit to play, he had a mental health issue. Come on. Enough. We got to stop babying these people.
Hold on. Let me address this question real quick. That's all good. Anita L is asking, what was the purpose of displaying a firearm?
He's a kid. He's stupid.
Well,
he's stupid. Yeah, he's stupid. That's where I changed the subject. What he did deserves a suspension. But again, guys, please don't let me get on the NBA with their CBA and their moral fiber.
Exactly.
They're the same ones that wanted to throw Maury under the bus because he brought up an incident in China. China still has concentration camps. Oh, shit. Let's ban him from the NBA. because we're in bed with China. So don't give me the moral fiber of the NBA. They don't have any. They're closely catching the goddamn NFL with the non-moral fiber.
Right.
You talk out of one side of your face, but act a different way on the other side of your face.
Tell them how you feel, Don. Tell them how you feel.
No, I'm just saying we can't keep saying I'm with Bishop, and it's not because me and Bishop live in the South. Me and Bishop have permits to carry a firearm. We actually did a background check.
Right.
You never heard about this with Morant, but you never heard about him being charged for having an illegal firearm either, did you?
No.
Now, he has done 6 or 7 other stupid things.
That's what I'm saying. So he hasn't
punching the kid in the face. And
punching the kid in the face obviously was stupid, of course. But I'm just
saying,
wait a minute. Let me interject. Well, let me interject. Some of these teenagers need a punch in the face.
Oh, please.
Some of them need a foot. Some of them need a foot somewhere. It's like, yo, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. You want to talk? You want to talk? Now, what I'm saying, like, getting into a beef with the mall security guard because your mom called. Like, first of all, why is your mom calling you? Second of all, why are you going there beefing with a guy, a mall security guard? It's like, yo, his life is already messed up. You understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta deal with all these random people coming in from all walks of life, just doing ridiculous stuff. Like you got your baby, you pull your baby diaper down and let the baby urinate in the plant or whatever it is, whatever the stupidness is. You change the diaper, you change the baby diaper. But I'm saying you change the diaper and you leave the dirty diaper where you changed it. It's like this what mall security is dealing with. So like, why would you feel necessary to come there to beef with a mall security guard? That's just so ridiculous.
Do you think Anita brought up a good point? I something about there's too much violence.
Yes,
in society. What you said? Yeah, I agree with her 100%. But here we go again with the NBA's moral fiber. The NBA took the All-Star game away from Charlotte, North Carolina, because they didn't want to do the bathroom thing. Remember? Y'all remember that?
Yep.
And they gave it to Chicago, to Anita's point, that had 1,044 homicides by gun and gave them the All-Star break. So let's talk about that moral fiber, as Reggie would say. Please, Dominic, don't stop. Think about this, guys. Their moral fiber only happens when it's their turn to raise their hand. They ignore everything else. But now John Morant is the poster child. And again, I'm with the suspension. Don't get it twisted. He has to be punished. Because if we don't punish him, because the NBA does have rules. As much as it pisses me off, Bishop, they do have rules. And if we don't do nothing, we're doing what we should be doing, shouldn't be doing. We're spoon feeding these people now. Don't worry. The baby, we can't keep doing this nonsense, man. So, a lesson has to be taught.
Did you ever wonder, because I wondered this, did you ever even ponder for one instance why the NBA hasn't come out or why somebody hasn't come out and said, here's specifically what the morality clause is that he's violated. Here's specifically what that is.
It's somewhere in the
everybody
CBA,
keeps it's ambiguous. It's just ambiguous because it doesn't exist.
We don't know.
It doesn't exist.
We don't know.
If it existed, somebody would have said, hey, here's the morality clause. Here's the morality clause that he's violated. Here's why he has to be punished. The reason why he has to be punished is because the media narrative.
I'm right here.
I'm saying the media narrative.
He ain't listening, Reg. He ain't listening again. The NBA don't have to say that, Bishop, because they hide behind this moral shit. They hide behind the morals that they don't even have.
Exactly.
That's all they got to say. It was about morals, Bishop. There's a morals clause in the C. Well, tell us what it is.
Exactly my point. What is it?
We don't got to tell you, Bishop. Shut up.
Right.
That's none of your damn business. Just understand we have a moral clause.
Exactly. So the same thing that the guy that beat the bejesus out of the Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges? Is it Miles Bridges?
Yes.
The one who choked and beat the bejesus
out
of his baby mother or his wife or whoever she is.
Guess what he'll be next season?
On an NBA team.
Basically.
What did I say, guys?
Right.
The NBA is this far Remember how
From the
we
NFL.
talked about the NBA? Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
NBA is this far behind the NFL.
For
That's
sure.
some serious catching up things
Right.
in only a couple of years.
Right.
Don't ever bring when the NBA says, "Oh, you broke the morals clause." I almost want to break something.
Right. Exactly.
What morals do you have?
Apparently
had
none.
a dress code.
Yeah.
Remember when the NBA had a dress code?
Of course. Of course.
Allen Iverson, poster child for the dress code. You see how these clowns are dressing now? What happened?
I wish they were dressing like Iverson right now.
The
Basically,
media,
exactly.
it's the media narrative. The media
Remember
narrative.
Rasheed Wallace?
Yep.
Remember Rasheed Wallace? Giving refs a dirty look and do that again. Now we're going to start having technicals for when you look at somebody stupid or a ref. Rasheed Wallace disappeared. You got LeBron James squirreling on the floor like a fish out of water. Jason Tatum bitching over every missed shot. What happened to that rule? Oh,
Luka
is gone.
Luka.
Well,
See, at least Luka's smart. He's using it in another language.
There you go.
The moral of the story: there's no morals.
The NBA players are spoiled. There she goes. Exactly.
There she goes.
Agree.
Right. So
Correct.
in other words, if I'm making $200 million for 4 years, you're damn right I'm spoiled. And you know what? So what? And again, who the hell is the media to create this narrative to say that I should be punished for doing something that
ain't
wasn't
the media,
illegal?
Bishop. This time I will say it's not the media. The media is piggybacking off of this stupid moral clause. Art didn't brush his teeth today. He suspended him. We got a moral clause for not brushing teeth. I ain't got to tell you where it's at. It's just a moral clause. You're supposed to brush your teeth every morning, or you didn't. You're suspended for 2 games. Here's the sad thing: the NBA, if they were going to make a statement, should have did it the first time. They should have. They waited 6 games to suspend him 8 games, so he missed 2 games. They should have did something then. If they wanted to make a statement and bring up the moral clause, they could have did it then.
The best thing that they could have done, the best thing to me that they could have done is say, okay, we don't agree with what he did, but we spoke to him, and John Morant do some safety, some gun violence or some safety ads or something like that to kind of like, okay, well, if you got kids out here that might be looking up to you, if you got kids or you got people who look at you and want to emulate what the things that you do, we're gonna basically have a feel-good story. Everybody's hugging each other, everybody's giving everybody high fives or whatever. We're going to turn this negative into a positive. But this whole idea that it's so ambiguous that you violated some morality clause, again, if the state of Memphis or wherever he is says that he is allowed to carry a firearm, open carry, whatever it is, who is the NBA to then come up and say and supersede what that state law is and say he did something wrong, we don't like it, he's going to be suspended? Who's the NBA to come?
So let me ask you a question. Getting back to my original point, I understand about having the gun legally. I get it. That's your Second Amendment. I get that. But again, when it's a different, you're waving it around, for Christ's sakes, irresponsibly. What do you mean? So what? What do you mean? So what?
So what?
Nah.
What if he said?
That's being an irresponsible gun owner. I'm sorry.
I don't want to play devil's advocate here.
Really?
But do we even know he had bullets in the chamber?
Right.
Do we know the gun was loaded?
We don't know. But that doesn't. That shouldn't even matter. That shouldn't even matter.
Again, if you're gonna do things again, let's skip over the NBA's moral.
So you mean to tell me in today's society with all this gun violence and these shootings and whatnot, that's something that shouldn't matter?
Did he shoot somebody?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Wait. So when you say
shootings, with all the shootings going on in this country, and I agree wholeheartedly. Please, people, do not take this the wrong way. But should that negate me and Bishop getting a weapon? Remember one thing, guys. The people that have firearms legally aren't normally the ones blasting people.
Exactly my point.
Let's remember that. Let's keep that in perspective.
It's not like you guys out there.
I'm pretty sure when the NBA gave Chicago the All-Star game after 1,044 homicides in the city, I'm pretty sure 1,000 of them were illegal firearms. I'm just guessing here. Trust me. I'm just guessing.
Pretty much.
But again, because something has happened in this society, should not hurt R. It shouldn't hurt Reggie. It shouldn't hurt Dominic and Bishop. We're not the ones shooting up. Again,
Okay.
the reason why we have the Second Amendment, whether you agree with it or not, and that's another issue, fellas. The NBA, and forgive me for saying this, I'm independent. The NBA is too liberal. They lean to the left so hard that they have to appease everything.
Yep.
They're not doing it because it's a letter of the law, or they're doing it for the appeasement of the left-leaning audience, which is probably 85% of the NBA.
Can I ask you a question?
You also have to consider the conversation that we're having. Reggie and R, you guys are from up north, right? You're up north, and the psyche or the manipulation, the mental manipulation to say guns are bad. If you got a gun, you must be bad. If you own a firearm, you must be a bad guy. And why do you have a firearm? And why are you not handling it this way? And why you don't have it, you know what I'm saying? Why you don't have it locked up? You keep saying like gun violence and all of this stuff. If you look at the mass shootings, there's never been a mass shooting in a situation where an NBA player has been handling a firearm.
Okay.
So what you're talking about when somebody's having a bad day, or somebody has a superiority complex, or somebody is involuntarily celibate, and they feel like, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and make some people pay for whatever mental issue that I have. That's what we're talking about here. Or we're talking about J-Rock and Kutubu or whoever having beef because they doing, you understand what I'm saying? We're talking about that. So how is that? But I'm saying, but I'm saying, how is that equate to this dude displaying the firearm on Instagram? How does that equate to?
All right, so I'm gonna put it like this. You say Dom and y'all registered, everything like that.
Yeah.
Are y'all going outside, even in your backyard, waving a fucking gun?
There's people that do it.
I'm asking you. I'm asking the people right here.
Some people feel comfortable enough. Some people feel comfortable enough. In some places, well, I tell you, some places in North Carolina, you can go out on your porch and let off assault rifle rounds.
I know people.
I ain't moving down there. That's for damn sure.
No, but see, that's the difference. I know people that have built berms. They built berms in their backyard.
Yep.
The berm is right. You can shoot into the berm. It won't go further than that. It's thick enough. The sand, the dirt, it stops the bullet. Whatever. It's legal. You may not agree with it, but again, New York City, one of the strictest gun laws in the United States of America. How many violent acts do we have in New York with handguns?
A lot.
It's almost impossible to get a handgun in New York City.
It all depends on the time of day.
Word.
Okay, my bad.
And where you at? Okay.
Or even where you're not at.
All the way back to Wild Style with all those names.
I never heard a gun getting up and saying, "Oh, I want to go shoot somebody." I'm just saying.
Me either.
I never heard it.
Again, it ain't the gun, people.
It's not the gun. It's the people. It's not the gun. It's the people.
And when everybody keeps using this broad brush to say, "Oh, gun violence," and this and that, what does gun violence have to do with me? Like I'm not out here perpetrating gun violence.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not walking up into the Walmart and because somebody stepped on my foot. Because somebody stepped on my foot, I'm unloading some rounds. I'm not doing that. Well, you're dumb. We in the same aisle. You get the last loaf of bread. Yo, it's a Mexican standoff.
We're gonna have a shootout in Walmart.
A shootout in Walmart for the loaf of
bread.
That's
it.
Lord. You know what? Not to change, but I will admit, I've even had my wife say, "How come you don't bring your gun out with you?" I said, I bought it for the protection of my home.
Right.
If I got to get to the point, and I'm as close as the NBA's moral fiber to the NFL to actually carrying it with me, but I do go outside. I don't want to, but and again, not to toot my own horn. Toot. If there's somebody that knows how to operate firearms, it would be a kind of sort of guy like me, where I wouldn't just be
right.
Yo. But here's the funny thing, and I'm ending with this. these athletes and these idiots on social media always say social media ain't real until you do some dumb shit and it becomes real. They need to stop.
Right.
I always said this, it's a gift and a curse.
Yes.
It's become more of a curse than a gift.
Yes, it has.
That's social media for you.
Yeah, what I don't understand is like what's the purpose? Now, I don't have a problem with what he did, other than the fact that you
But why?
put it on social media, because it's like, again, why did you post that, or why did your boy post that for likes?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Again, what was the purpose of that? He's probably done it. In my estimation, he might have done it thousands of times.
Probably.
But it's just the one time that he's on social media, and he does it on social media, that this whole brouhaha happens, and it's like, oh well, it was like a red meat. It was like red meat when the second video popped up, and they're like, oh, so he's doing it again. And I'm like, the first time, he should have never. I wouldn't apologize for anything. What am I apologizing for? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a young single guy. I'm in a strip club, and I displayed a firearm. Okay.
That was kind of weird.
Well, you know what? Then I must be very old and old fashioned. I'm sorry. Maybe I am, because I'm not. I'm not
indoctrinated. You've been indoctrinated into the North way of thinking when it comes to firearms. You've been indoctrinated.
Now there are things like, come on, guys. Whether it's legal or illegal, there's sort of kind of like common sense. Where am I really supposed to be?
Right.
Hey,
come on.
In a strip
and
club?
that's my whole point. That's my whole point. I'm like,
whether it's legal or not, it just looks a little. You ain't old.
Yeah.
It looks a little bizarre.
Me
as a gun owner is saying this.
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
I mean, to us, it looks a little bizarre.
Yes.
But to some of these young dudes, again, to some of these young dudes, I gotta say, it's like walking around with your pants underneath your ass. That's bizarre to me. Walking around with tights on.
To Anita's point, with all of this, gun this, gun that, why would we do something like that? She makes a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, the sad part about it all, and I think Bishop or somebody said it, they do it for likes. They don't care about what Anita thinks about gun violence.
See, she just said, let's be responsible gun owners.
Like me and Bishop, Anita.
And you are. And you guys are.
What makes him irresponsible as a gun owner? What makes him irresponsible? Because he displayed it?
He didn't just display it. He waved it around like a oh my God. Okay.
Okay, so he displayed it. At the end of the day, he displayed it. At the end of the day, he displayed a firearm in a strip club and in a vehicle.
It was irresponsible.
It's the optics.
It
Bishop.
was bottom line. It was irresponsible. Right. I don't care how you try to, explain it, but no, it was irresponsible.
So
and
if he said,
why do you have a gun in a strip club though?
For a month ago?
Thank you.
It was only a month ago he did the in the strip club. So it's okay, you admitted that, oh man, I shouldn't have did this. I should be more responsible. And then you do this.
Again.
So it's sort of like they ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Right.
What did they do last time?
I would like
8-game suspension with
Silver
spoke to him. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I'm just saying the optics sometimes.
Right.
And again, he's doing this, not to turn it political, he's doing this in a left-leaning establishment who is, not to say Anita is anti-gun, I'm not saying that, but the anti-gun people are going to lean toward what they're saying and doing, the NBA, because that's where a lot of their support's coming from.
And as he said, I don't believe that turned the strippers on.
Who knows?
Probably turned them out.
But I'm saying, who knows? But you got to think too. These young dudes, they're going into a strip club with 50,000, 100,000 in cash. They're throwing money around. They got jewelry on, all sorts of valuables or whatever. It's like, first of all, to me, it's like you shouldn't have been there. That's number one. You shouldn't have been there. At your status, you shouldn't be hanging out in those type of spots. At your status. That's number one.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, it's like I could see if you are in an establishment like that, or you are in it, because those are not in Beverly Hills. They're not in the best neighborhoods. So there's a chance that you might not make it out the way you went in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. Picture us at 23 years old, making $200 million, right? Who's going to tell us what? I'm asking.
Yeah.
You know what? I like to think that if that was the case, Reggie, that at least one of us would have some type of common decency and common sense to walk that right way and not be an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, Reggie, to Reggie's point, let's say all four of us were hypothetically at a strip club. It ain't got to be the greatest one, but hopefully it ain't one with brick walls and brick windows. That
one way in, one way out.
Yeah, exactly, Reg. But all four of us together, if Reggie decided to wave his hand in the air, you know, one of us would say, Reg, really? Not get out our phone and say, Instagram Live.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure all four of us would honestly say, even at the age of 23. Because again, guys, we all grew up in New York. So I'm 23 years old is probably a hell of a lot older than a Ja Morant's 23 years old. Let's not forget, this kid was spoon-fed his whole life. He don't come from no walk of life like us.
Exactly. So where's this behavior coming from, bro?
He ain't from Brooklyn. He comes from a very good walk of life, something that we didn't see. But again, we're the people that saw it but tend to avoid it. That's very I always found that to be strange. You would think that we'd be the ones.
Right.
But we're not. We grew up faster. We grew up smarter. We grew up a lot more mature because nobody spoon-fed our asses. This is what we're doing with today's society, whether it's Ja Morant or Boogie Night. We're spoon-feeding these kids.
Whoever, Dom. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's just real easy. It's just real easy to throw out there, oh, he shouldn't do it because gun violence, or he shouldn't do it because of this, or he shouldn't do it because of that. So specifically, is he responsible for the gun violence? Is he responsible for? But I'm saying people are. So Anita made the comment, oh, because of gun violence. Yo, is he responsible for the gun violence? Is he responsible for the mass shooting?
I think she was using
waving the gun going to encourage somebody.
I think she was using the common sense approach to that, Bishop. Like, you know what, you would think with this kind of gun violence going on that we'd be a little more. But again, we found out. Let's say, guys, that everything he did was legal. Again, the optics look crazy. The optics look crazy because of the organization you work for.
Right.
4 weeks later, you're doing it again. So now somebody's thinking, ours cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right.
Let's be honest. Ours just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs now. I can't tell ours nothing.
You promote this in art. You promote this ideology in the music. You promote this ideology in movies. You promote this in movies. You promote this in theater. You promote it in all walks of life. You promote it, and then when you see it in an arena that you didn't promote, now it's an issue. Now I gotta ask the question: Is it because he's a young black man displaying a firearm?
No. Because I said, Bishop, if he was a NASCAR driver, we never would have heard about this.
Exactly my point.
Never heard about it.
Exactly my point.
It has nothing to do with color. It has something to do with optics. We live in a society where look but don't touch, touch but don't taste. You know, we live in this bizarre in and out world, guys. I mean, again, we didn't create these rules. It was cool when we grew up, where we knew right from wrong. You know, we grew up in an era where neighbors whooped our asses when we did something wrong.
You know,
now a neighbor can't even talk to a kid without guns coming out, talking about gun violence.
You know, the thing is, Bishop, you use a few examples. You talk about the art, the movies, the TV shows, the on records, vinyl, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Here's the thing: all those examples you use, that's entertainment.
Right.
That's entertainment. That's not real life. And I mean, whoa. No, hear me out. When I say, and maybe I use real life as is wrong, but I'm saying that's entertainment value, those examples. Okay, when we're talking about, life that we're living in, you understand? And a gun comes into play, you know what I'm saying? That's some real shit, dude. That's real shit. You understand? And if somebody's being irresponsible with a gun, I didn't say we're firing no shots. I didn't say that the gun was loaded. But let's say you're not even in a strip club. Let's say you're in a club, regular nightclub or a lounge, and you got music playing and somebody's drinking and all hyped up and whatnot. And maybe he's not even hyped up, but he's feeling the moment. He's feeling the music. Okay? And now you want to show out and be a gangster or whatever for whatever reason. That's responsible?
This could have went.
That's responsible? Come on.
This could have went. Think about how far left this could have went if somebody would have felt threatened by him doing that, and they pulled out their gun.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something, guys. Have you ever seen soldiers jump out of airplanes, even maybe on TV or whatever?
Right.
Looks sexy, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
How many people are doing that shit? Not many. Not many. So it could look sexy.
That looks real scary, bro.
We're grown people. We should be to the point now where we know, all right, the Fast and Furious is driving cars from one hotel to another, but I'm not going to do that with my car.
Right, you got that right.
We know darn well you ain't doing it with your car.
It ain't because of the car I drive either, Reggie. It's just we wouldn't do that.
No.
I wouldn't do that with a city bus. I mean,
I hear you. I feel you. I feel you, man.
I am not putting myself in that position to do that at any cost.
Negative.
No, Reggie.
Hey, guys.
Hey, I got one more. Just one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, God.
First of all, why am I jumping out of a perfectly good airplane?
Oh, Reg. Let me just say this, Reg, before we go.
Yeah.
Same thing. I used to, serious. Until when you're looking, man, it's like, wow. You know, you're just, first of all, you're floating. And the closer you get, you're seeing shit like trees, and it's wow. Now, there are situations where you ain't looking at trees. You're looking at shooting at your goddamn ass coming. But it is. I thought the same way Reggie thought. Oh, man, I'd rather be in a vehicle and ride. And who jumps out of a perfectly? Yeah, all of that's true until you do it, Reg. If you ever have, let me tell you something. There's places where you could do it indoors, and it has the air that kind of keeps you up like you're coming down.
Yes.
Even if you tried that, guys, and I'm not saying it because I did it. I never had a greater feeling. I just put it that way. Never.
Listen.
There was times, guys. There was times. The older I got, and the more experience I got, that I would push the envelope. You're taught to.
I ain't pushing that
so many feet. There was times where the closer you got and everything started getting bigger.
Wait. I'm that guy that said what can't go wrong will go wrong.
Exactly.
You like
automatic. First of all, you got an automatic shoot.
Yeah, okay, automatic.
Yeah,
okay, automatic.
It sounds good in theory, but
it's beautiful. Oh God.
Listen, let's move on.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go skydiving in North Carolina.
I got one right down the street, guys.
I don't think so. Let's
come on. When we take that trip, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, okay.
A little baby helmet y'all could put on.
Nah, I'm good.
Little crash test helmet.
Nah, I'm good. Listen, what's going?
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Let's get into the NBA some more with these playoffs, some observation and thoughts. I saw a few stories here and there. First of all, the first thing I want to talk about is that unless stuff changes, looks like there might be a game 6. It's right before halftime. I think the score is 53-40 in favor of Boston. Yeah. So I remember I shared a story with you guys. I think Boston was like, don't lose game 4. If I were you, I wouldn't lose. Remember we were talking about that? And we was like, well, they should just shut up and blah, blah. Well, I mean,
that's wraparound talk. That's wraparound talk. That's all that is. That's wraparound talk. You know, that's wraparound
That's us
talk.
in the morning, huh?
Having the decency to
Uh-huh.
provide a wraparound if you go. It's like, yo, dude, really?
I mean,
It's like, yo, that's ridiculous. You're losing the series. You shouldn't be down 3-0. You save some face by winning the game.
Right.
That's fine. You might even be up at halftime. But as
Right.
we have seen throughout this whole run that Miami has had, that no lead is safe. No lead is safe.
Okay.
No
Okay.
It's like no lead
Not
is
to
safe.
mention Boston's 4-6 at home in the playoffs.
Right.
Mm.
And Brown and Tatum have the propensity to launch up bad shot after
Right.
bad shot after bad shot.
Right.
So
Talk about going airborne. Shit.
but let's get back to the statement. You're down 3-0.
Right.
What the hell else are you supposed to say?
Yeah.
take it one game at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. Now,
one game at a time.
What if they actually get to a game 6?
It'll be in Miami.
Okay.
And all
They lost the last game in Miami.
They lost 2 in Boston.
Game 6. You're at home. You're at home.
Right.
Though you blew home court advantage right from the get-go, but
Right.
you can they pull off a 1986 Mets when the Mets lost the first 2 games at home?
These are not your Boston Red Sox, yo.
Boston.
I'm just saying, can they?
These are not your Boston Red Sox. Stop it.
It's never happened in basketball.
It's never.
And it's not going to happen today.
No, I don't think
it's not going to happen this playoff series.
150 and 0 if you have
something like that. Yeah,
right. I get it.
150 and 0, and Boston ain't that team that's going to do that. Look at who you got on that team. Look at who you got on that team. You relying on Al Horford. You relying on Al Horford to hit threes. You
Grant Williams
to give you buckets, and now Tatum and Brown. They're gonna give you their numbers. But how many shots are they going to have to take to give you their numbers?
Right.
You guys are correct. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to debate with you about that.
You know what, guys? I hate to say it. Somebody's saying it. It's going to happen one day.
It is going to happen.
Why not this year?
You got to say it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now,
you really look at it, guys, even with the great soliloquy of Bishop, he nailed how Boston is, their players are, but honestly say that they don't have more talent?
Yeah, but the way that Miami is basically dissecting all of these teams, and it's like I'm not even a Miami Heat fan, but the way that they are dissecting these teams. So Eric Spoelstra, again, if you good at one-on-one, taking people off the dribble, he's taking that away. Tatum can barely get a shot. Brown can't even put the ball on the floor without it being taken or fumbled or whatever. So the things that you're good at, I'm gonna take those away. I'm gonna take them away. Right. So after Tatum and Brown, who do you have? Brogdon and White may give you some offensive productivity, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Or every time Tatum complains about a foul, you be drunk as hell. But to Bishop's point, I asked the question: is Miami just playing over their head?
Nah.
I'm asking.
Nah.
These guys,
I don't think so.
When you look at this, and I brought it up when they played the Knicks, you got guys like Martin, Duncan Robinson. What's the other guy's name coming off the bench?
Gabe Vincent.
Kyle
Lowry.
No, the other one.
Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson.
I said Duncan.
Okay.
It begins with an S.
Strus?
Strus.
Yeah, Strus. Do you know that all of these guys are 9.4, 9.5, 9.9 a night guys? All season. They were 9.5, 4, 9 a guy a night. And now all of a sudden, one of them is going to hit 20. One of them is going to hit 16. Now, me and Bishop had the opportunity to watch Martin play. He's a pretty good ball player. I saw him in Charlotte. He's a pretty good ball player.
I
can't. Is his brother still there?
His brother. Yeah, I can't vouch for the other guy. Duncan Robinson was that guy for a minute. And then, I don't know what happened. Tyler Hero came in with his...
He got the Steve Novak disease.
No. Tyler Hero came in with the hip-hop revolution, and they forgot all about Duncan Robinson. But he can still shoot. I always say this: shooters can shoot.
Right.
But I still think, guys, if Boston wins tonight, guys, this is the third round of the playoffs, right?
Yes, sir.
If Boston wins tonight, them and the Knicks will be the only ones to win 2 games against Miami. And if Boston don't win, the Knicks will be the only team to have won 2 games against Miami. I'm not saying it is, guys, but when you look at the numbers and you look at who they are and what they've been all year, I always say this. There's a reason they have an average. There's a reason they have a wins and losses, a winning percentage. These are what you are. You know, you've been this way for 82 games. It's kind of hard to just hit that switch.
Yeah, but
they've done it. They've done it during the playoffs. They've hit this different switch. But do you feel like, again, I have no nickel in this dime, guys. I hate both teams. But do you feel like, you know, they've gotten all they can get? Is there another level to this? These guys are already playing over the head. Is there another level to this?
So Dom, the only person that I think is playing over their head, because if you look at what Caleb Martin is doing, those are the same moves that he was making all year.
But
like
again, he was only averaging 7 points a night.
Right, but up fake going to the basket. No, Boston is not putting up any resistance. They're not putting up any resistance. He's just filling the lane. He's just filling the lane and shooting wide open threes. The only one that's playing, the only one that I never even saw this in is Gabe Vincent. I never saw Gabe Vincent coming down, taking it off the dribble, off the screen and roll, hitting 3-pointers, step back, crossing people over, having a switch and having Robert Williams on them and going to the basket, getting M1s on Robert Williams. I never saw that.
No.
So he's the only one that I think that is playing above where
if you look at
everybody else is doing everything. Everybody else
if you look at their numbers, Bishop, like I always do, y'all know I'm a numbers guy. None of these guys, again, if you're averaging 9.4 a night,
right,
that means the likelihood of you scoring 21 points is pretty damn slim. And every one of them have gotten close to 20, 16, 18. Look at Kyle Lowry. Dude's 104 years old, averaging 8 points a night. And he looks like Nate Archibald. I'm just wondering, when do the wheels come off? I don't know.
It's easy. Like, if you look at how they're playing, they're doing the same. They're doing the same thing. Like, Jimmy Butler is a willing passer out of the double team. And then the ball just keeps moving, and the other team doesn't make the commitment to rotating the way they should. And then you wind up with somebody in the corner or somebody at the top shooting a wide open set shot 3-pointer. Like no pressure, no nothing, taking a practice shot. That's what they're doing. And they keep doing it over and over and over. So now these guys have gotten confident. So now you got Strus coming off a screen, coming off a double screen, and the ball is being delivered, and he just turning and firing. Like he not even like Duncan Robinson. We all know he can shoot. Max Strus is coming off a double screen and hitting like 4 or 5 threes in a row. And before you know it, he's got like 21 points. And now he's on the bench. And now they bring in somebody who can hit shots and play defense. They got Caleb Martin out there.
The other scary thing is, guys, without beating a dead horse, Boston has been one of the best defensive teams all year. I think, I hate to say this, the last 2 games, you've actually seen it. I mean, would you just say, they got 40 points at half?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't have my phone on me, but I know they didn't have many points at the half last game either. And they ended up getting blown out. It is a good defensive team, guys. We can say what we want about their up and down, yo-yo type atmosphere on offense, but they've always been a pretty good defensive team, especially when Robin Williams is playing. So, again, I hope it's not true. I hope the wheels haven't fallen off Miami because I'd like to see them. I hate Boston probably more than shit. I want all. I'm on a roll. The Lakers got bumped. I hate everything LA. Boston gets bumped. I hate everything Boston. I'd be all right even though the Knicks ain't there. I'm just, just saying.
So I want. You know what I want to do? I want Dom. You had said something about having that conversation about Jason Tatum. That's certainly.
Yeah, you remember that, huh?
Yeah, I wanted
that conversation.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I was like, let's have that conversation about this dude. Again,
Bishop already had it. but he did.
Let's hear this conversation.
Well, go ahead, Dom.
Is he on? I'm just gonna ask the question. Is he? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking. Is he that dude? Is he that guy?
Yeah.
You think so?
No, he's asking. He's asking.
I'll say this before I give y'all the floor to give your answers. Those of us that watched the playoffs last year and the finals remember Jason Tatum broke a playoff record. Conversation. He had like 500 turnovers in the playoff. Whatever his number was, it was the most ever in the playoff series, all playoff.
Right.
This year, how many games? I got to ask Bishop. Bishop, how many games did he go 5 for 20 or 7 for 23?
Or have
but he'll have
turnovers.
that 30 point. He'll have that 30-something point night, and we'll all say, "Oh man, he's bad."
Yep.
Let's have that conversation. Where is he? I'll say this, guy. You're not Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
You're not Kobe Bryant.
No.
Understand your love for Kobe. You're not Kobe Bryant.
No.
Put his name in that conversation is blasphemy.
But
y'all answer the question. What
can
what
I
do y'all
answer?
think?
I got one question. How tall is he?
6'9".
6'9"?
He's 6'9".
With a six, I think with like a 7-foot wingspan.
Why does he?
Reggie?
Why does he play outside so damn much?
Because he's light in the ass. Because he's light in the ass.
Say light in the ass, exactly.
But
That's
still,
fine.
I understand what Reggie's saying. He's 6'9". You could be light in the ass. You can bring it in a little closer. Pretty sure that's what Reggie means.
If you, but
Pretty
if
sure
you,
Reggie ain't saying let's turn him into Akeem Olajuwon.
But I'm saying if you look at how Boston played throughout the regular season, Boston ran offense throughout the regular season that would pick and have a guard on Jason Tatum, and he'd be at that free throw line extended or between the key and the free throw line.
He's too comfortable. He's too comfortable out there.
And he would he would live in that mid range, being switched off and guarded by a point guard. But somewhere along the line, Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics organization decided that it was okay for him to stand outside and jack up threes. Jack up threes off the dribble, jack up threes off the because the mismatches that it creates when you have the two guard being picked off or the small forward being picked off and a point guard having to guard him, it's like he's just rising up and taking a shot. Right. And he's hitting that shot 8 out of 10 times. That mid-range shot. For some reason.
I don't know about that.
Yes, indeed. When Boston was on there.
Okay, but you could rise up. You could rise up and shoot over him at 15, 20 feet. Then what they doing? 29 freaking feet, 30 feet.
It's a tougher shot. It's a tougher shot.
Exactly. So you make it easier on yourself. You're 6'9". We're starting at 6'9". The point guard is at best 6'4". You got 5 inches on this dude. You can't get a little bit closer, bro.
Exactly.
It has to be a 3. It has to be the top of the key. Yeah, we know you can hit that shot, but basketball IQ, as we talk about with certain people, Barrett, Randall, you understand?
But you know what? To answer, I want to answer Dom's question about is he that guy? To me, no. And I'll just say it's flat out like that. Is he talented enough? Yes. But the thing why he's not that guy is one word: inconsistency. He's inconsistent. And so is Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
He's inconsistent too. You understand? Yes, they have wins. I get that during the regular season. Yes, there'll be a highly seeded team in the playoffs. I get that as well. But at some point, their inconsistencies are going to hurt them, and they will never grasp that brass ring. They will never get that championship unless they overcome that. You understand?
Or break it up.
Break it up. Okay, granted. Now go ahead, Bishop.
Change that offense up.
You got Jaylen Brown, who, when I said this before, everybody was like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Jaylen Brown still is uncomfortable putting the ball on the floor in the half-court set.
Yes, he is.
He's still uncomfortable putting the ball in, and this is what, and he's eligible for a super max deal.
Yeah.
And
He'll get it.
What I'm saying, and he's limited in the sense that I would expect him to be at a level like Bradley Beal, or in that realm, like a bigger version of like a Bradley Beal, able to put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, get to wherever you want to go on the court, and he still can't do that.
No.
Jason Tatum he's a guy that he needs space. He needs space because he likes to dribble. His dribble is long. He's long and lanky. He likes to dribble. He likes to get space so he can get into his rhythm. What
He don't like to get
doing,
touched.
what Miami is doing, what the Knicks did in the regular season, what Orlando did in the regular season, all of those teams that ate the C's lunch, is they got in that space. They didn't allow him to be comfortable. They didn't allow him to dribble into his rhythm. They didn't allow him to get into that flow that he needs to get into. And Miami is doing it in this series. So if you stop the two main guys from scoring, Boston has nobody else.
No.
They don't have anybody else that can make up that slack. So it's like they can hype it up and say, oh, they got the most talent. They got this, they got that. No, they don't have guys who – Tatum has to be a willing passer. And this is the masterclass lesson that the Heat are showing everybody. It's like you don't have to be the greatest. You just got to be the smartest.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying attention to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler is satisfied with getting to his spots, taking his little 15, 20 footers, or passing the ball out and having the ball rotate to the open guy. And they're doing this all the time. They did this for the Milwaukee Bucks series. They did this for the Knicks series. They're doing it in this series. They're not doing anything special. They don't have guys dropping 50 points a night. They're not doing anything special. They just playing team ball. And if they get 85 shots, of those 85 shots, 70 to 75 of those 85 shots are makeable good shots. If Boston is getting the same amount of shots, about 20 of those shots are going to be bizarre Tatum and Brown shots. It's going to be about bizarre shots from them, home run shots. And then the rest is going to be you relying on Al Horford to shoot threes. You're relying on other guys to make up the difference, and it just doesn't calculate. It just doesn't calculate.
All that being said, there's somebody out in the bleachers right now saying Bishop, Dominic, Reggie, and R are crazy. He had 50-plus points in the Game 7.
Against last year against Milwaukee.
No, against the Sixers just
last
week.
He had against
the Sixers, right?
See, that's what I mean. You could bring that up real quick, but then you forget about what he's done.
Exactly. Right, and I noticed
Tobias Harris was guarding him, and Tobias Harris allowed him to get into his rhythm.
And you beat them by 101 points. I mean,
get into his rhythm. Yeah, he allowed them to get into his rhythm, take the shots that he's comfortable with, get into his dribbling flow, and then they also allowed they allowed Brown off the hook because a lot of his baskets came on fast breaks.
And I tell you this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Bishop, but I tell you this much. I did a Max 11 DJ Groove Killer, my bad. What I'm just saying, like, the thing is, though, you see this narrative they're building with Tatum, though, right? Have you seen this narrative? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. I've seen they are trying to build this guy up like he is the man in these elimination games. Have you seen anything like that? No, nobody's seen.
It's because it's Boston. That's all. It's just because it's Boston.
Okay. Again, to that point, if you're that good,
there should be no elimination game.
Are that good? Why are you in an elimination game?
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
I mean, they was. But they was really bigging it up. I was like, really? I was like,
first of all, y'all went 7 games with the Sixers. Us 4 on the line, and somebody in Harlem could probably go 6 games with the Sixers.
Right.
Come on. It's not like he did this against Denver or Golden State. Say Sacramento, but come on. I just don't like his antics either. Like every time he misses, it's like somebody cut him with a machete. Come on, get back down court.
Right.
What happened to those days? Nope.
Everybody trying to be LeBron.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, the NBA, Rasheed Wallace was doing it, came up with a new rule that any demonstrative action was an automatic tech. Rasheed Wallace must have had about 105 techs that year.
Hell yeah.
And once he retired, it went away.
Yeah, there's an award. There's still going to be an award. The Rasheed Wallace Award.
Constantly,
Let's see who's going to get the most technical fouls for the season.
Yeah.
You got Draymond Green.
Yeah,
you got Dylan the Villain.
But she could back it up though. That's
But still,
she gave him that work.
It's kind of hard to watch, and you don't watch a game to see this kind of fuckery. You want to see a good game. You want to see an ebb and flow. At least I do it. That's basketball is based on ebb and flow. Not
at this level.
We're gonna stop. Yeah, we're gonna stop every 5 minutes so R and Bishop could go beat up a ref.
Right.
And no tech is called. We done wasted 3 minutes of my life.
Yep.
No tech was called. No action was played.
Yep. Exactly. So speaking of rules, y'all still that they're gonna try something about this flopping?
Oh, come on.
Oh man.
Damn. We'll see.
Damn.
Remember, I will say this. Remember we had this conversation last year, maybe, that it was supposed to happen this year, but it didn't. It's going to happen next year with the load management. Now you have to play 65 games to be eligible for anything. MVP, All-NBA, whatever. You have to play 65 games.
Davis won't make it.
When you look at it, guys, 17 games that you can miss every year.
Right.
That's kind of weird.
That's some bullshit, you know?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the rule. Got to play 65 games.
I think part of
that rules out in B too.
The media made this whole big to do about that. I think they made it. What they should have done is they should have been talking about it when Greg Popovich started it.
Oh,
when he initiated that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Yo, we're gonna sit," because it started in San Antonio.
Did it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who playing back home?
Yeah, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Yeah. So it was like it started back then when he was thumbing his nose up at the league, and then they started making a big to-do about it in a pandemic. Like we were just coming out of the pandemic where they were allowing people back in the arena, but COVID was still alive and pumping, in areas. And it's just like, okay, so one of my teammates had COVID and I was exposed to them. So now I'm in COVID protocol for three games or 5 games or whatever it is. And now I'm being penalized because you're saying, hey, you didn't play enough games. That's like ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. Now the whole load management thing where it's like where Kawhi Leonard, there's something medically wrong with that guy. So it's not a load management. I think like he's got some kind of degenerative like hip issue or something. I think something's wrong with him where he can't play at the level that he used to play at because his body won't allow him to.
Right. I could agree.
Because it's like it just doesn't make sense that it's like I know there's a lot of guys in the league that you can see that they don't have the passion for the game like some of the older guys did. They don't have the passion, like they're not going to play through come what may, I'm playing. They're not going to put that out there because they just don't love the game like that.
Right.
And
again, the NBA, I don't know, I won't say rightfully, not rightfully. They caved into public opinion. We're tired of seeing this. We're tired of R spending $150 for a ticket. He goes to the game. Bishop ain't playing because they giving him a rest day. And again, now instead of just making a decision to do something. Again, the NBA has always been a react league. They don't act; they just react. Oh, gun violence. We'll raise our pom poms and
Right.
They always react to something. They never act on anything. They just react to appease Bishop, Dominic, Reggie.
Right,
So
which is
what
what I
it
said.
is.
Which is why I say it's based on the narrative, which is what I said earlier. If you keep repeating the same thing over and over on like all of these like sports shows and all of these like the ESPNs, the First Take and the Sirius XMs and all of this stuff that cover the NBA, if you keep repeating the same thing over and over, then they'll react. Because if nobody batted an eye and said John Morant is stupid, he's just stupid for doing that. And if they didn't say, hey, he needs to be suspended, or if they kept saying, yo, he needs to be beaten, not only does he need to be suspended, he needs to be beaten, then they would be calling for, well, how many lashes is he going to get? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like once they start pushing this narrative and then the NBA caves in, it's like a subliminal hand job for them. Like they feel proud. They feel proud that they were able to impact. And I don't know what it is about the media and like if it's something negative, you can negatively impact somebody. Like they're all for it. Everybody just gang rushes in. Yeah, they just bum rush in because it's like, oh, I want to see this guy be punished. I want to see this guy. I want to see something happen to this guy, which is the same thing that I keep saying is how like the MVP is like the sort of like the same thing. If you keep repeating the same thing over and over, then it somehow at some point it's gonna become a reality. It's gonna become a reality, and it's like again, you can't tell me. And I started this, as you can recall, I started this when Giannis got back-to-back MVPs.
Right.
I said, there's no way that this guy is the best that the league has to offer, and this is he's in how many seasons has he been in the league, and we still talking about him missing 13 free throws that basically cost his team another game. And they probably still would have lost, but I'm just saying, like, we still talking about, hey, if he would have hit those 13 free throws, it's possible that they could have taken Miami to a seventh game or whatever it is. It's like, but he's a back-to-back MVP, back-to-back MVP that still can't shoot a 15-footer, a back-to-back MVP that still is getting called for offensive fouls 4 and 5 times a game. This is the best that the league has to offer. A 2-time MVP. Steve Nash, a 2-time MVP. What quantifies that? Like how does that happen? How does that happen? With all of the talent that was in the league at that time, how does that happen? It's a narrative that's pushed. Now, I'm not saying that Joker shouldn't have gotten an MVP, like one MVP. I'm not saying that. But a 2-time MVP, I don't know, a 3-time MVP. So now we saying, and I'm looking at who's won 3 MVPs. So now we saying that this dude is better than Larry Bird. Now we saying that this dude is like, how many people have won 3 MVPs back to back? I mean, the 3 back-to-back MVPs 3 times. So are we putting him and saying that he's the best forward to ever play the game, or the best center, or whatever position you want to have him at? I don't think so.
But I think that's where we lose it, Bishop, because you can't, because he's done this for 3 years and maybe only a handful of people have done. You can't punish him for that. You can't say, "Oh my God, I didn't win 3 in a row. I won 35 championships. He never won." We can't do that. That's like punishing him for something he really didn't do.
Yeah, but he
just went out there and played ball. It ain't.
But the narrative,
his fault that I didn't win 3 MVPs in a row.
But the narrative that you create, and I got to tell you, if you listen to the sports shows and all of the, like I said, the ESPNs and all of the popular sportscasters and the guys who yell and pound on their chest and jump up and down or whatever, they're all pushing this narrative that it's the European player that all of the players in the NBA should model their games after. It's that European player, whether it's a Giannis, whether it's a Joker, this is the way that everybody in the NBA needs to play because they play the right way, because they're playing the right way. And that narrative, it's like, again, when Bird won those 3 back-to-back MVPs, there was championships that came with that. There was consistency across the board that came with that. Like when you faced the Celtics in the regular season, you just knew that was an L for you. And they came out and they got it. And that was known around the league. It didn't matter who you had. It didn't matter if you had Jordan on your team. It didn't matter who you had. This was just the way it is. So again, you can say, yes, well, because you feel he had the stats that gave him the back-to-back-to-back MVPs. And it's like, well, who created the narrative and who kept moving the goalpost to say that this is the most important thing? Or this is the most important thing when it comes to MVP. Or that's the most important thing when it comes to the MVP. It's the people who were voting. And who's the people that were voting? The media. That's why I say they should eliminate media voting for those types of awards and just have a committee on the NBA of former and current players, and you basically, it's not anonymous. So this way you take out the fuckery.
We can't put Mark Jackson in it.
You take out the fuckery. No, he's got his opinion. He's got his opinion. But you have a committee. You have a committee, and it's not anonymous, so that you got to put your name to it. You got to put your name to it. You got to own it. And you have that committee vote, and you eliminate all of this like media, and you got Justin Termini and these clowns who has a vote, and they peddle that and keep talking about it all season. Oh, my vote for this, my vote for that, my vote for this, my vote for that. And it's like before the first ball was even bounced for this past regular season, they had already proclaimed that Luka was going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
And that Joker was going to be a strong second. And I'm like, well, how can you come up with that when the first ball hasn't even bounced?
Right.
You got other guys who were on a cusp of getting to that plateau, but you automatically is saying that this person is favored to win it. Despite everything else, this person is favored to win it. Now, based on the criteria that they kept in that moving goalpost, that they kept putting up there, Joel Embiid, last season he didn't meet that criteria. This season he met that criteria. So if you can't change it at the last minute and say, well, okay, well, he played 65 games or whatever, they both played the same amount of games. So how many minutes did Joker play and how many minutes did Embiid play? Even though they played the same amount of games. And Embiid averaged more points, or Embiid team had a better record, or whatever it is. Because I think they had like the same record. It's just that in the West, because it was so convoluted, all the teams were so evenly matched that 51 games or whatever the record was the best out of that group because they were so evenly matched. And in the East, Milwaukee and Boston separated themselves by a few more games. So again, can you say, okay, well, Joker had the best record in the West, but it was the same record that Philly had. And Embiid averaged more points. And Embiid impacted the team winning on both ends. Now, was he hurt? Does he play as effectively on offense? Some games he did, some games he didn't. So again, I say back to back to back, that would mean that you are basically supplanting and saying, okay, well, this guy is the best who ever did it at this position, and I disagree with that. I disagree.
I can't go that far because again, it's different eras, different players, different rules. Again, I can't punish R for winning 3 MVPs and not winning a chip, and then praise Larry Bird for winning 3 MVPs and winning a chip. It's like, you're talking the 2023 versus 1986. I would lean more toward that time, that era, than now because the game is so much easier to play now. No hand checking, no physicality. The same thing we go over when we compare eras.
Right.
But the sad thing is, even though I like to compare it, we simply can't. We didn't make the rules. We didn't all 4 sit down one day and say, oh, you know what? We're going to do it this way. And again, to Bishop's point, which is great, once we let the media in this, it went bizarre because, again, what Bishop said, 2 games into the season, Bishop said Dominic was going to win the MVP. So if Dominic has even a subpar season, you want to be able to rest on your fake-ass take and vote for Dominic, even though he wasn't the best player. And again, Mark Jackson, whether it was a snafu or whatever, he's a prime example of we really need to watch who the hell is voting.
That wasn't no snafu. That wasn't no snafu, Don. It wasn't no snafu. He put who he put, and when they called him out to say, "Hey, so you mean to tell me that you wouldn't even have Joker on your top 5 or whatever?" And he said, "Oh, I chose based on." If he would have said, "Yo, I chose based on my personal preference, how I like to play the game, how I like to see the game played. I chose that, my top 5 based on that, and based on that, this is who I like." So again, the fact that he bent over and said, "Okay, because you guys are calling me out, I'm going to apologize and I'm going to say that I should have included him." No, if I don't think, like I never thought Giannis should have got back-to-back MVPs, and I still say that. Even though he got a championship, I still say he's not.
And I still say Joker should have won this year too.
But to Mark Jackson, the funny thing about Mark Jackson is everybody was saying you left him off, but nobody said why. But then he came back. You remember, he came back with, "Oh, I was going by position." You weren't voting for the All NBA team. So either you was confused as hell, or you really shouldn't be voting. If I'm not mistaken, this was the first year he voted.
He was smoking that good stuff.
I think this was the first year he actually had a vote, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But I think when they called him out on it,
he bitched up.
Yep. He
bitched up
pretty much, and he said, "Yo," he could have just said, "Yo, I said what I said, and this is you have your right to your opinion. I got my right to my opinion." Like, so you're gonna basically, he could have turned it around, but he trying to get that coaching gig, so he don't want to create no controversy.
Coaching gig where?
He want, how many vacancies out there?
I think there's still 4. I think there's still 4 left.
4 vacancies. So you got what?
Are they on the West Coast?
No.
Phoenix?
No.
Did they hire somebody in Phoenix?
No.
So you got Phoenix.
What about Philly?
You got
Toronto.
Philly.
No.
You got Toronto.
That's 4.
You got so you got some teams.
If it's not a West Coast team, Mark Jackson is not going.
Yeah, like I said, when you're trying to get back into the good graces and get on the NBA coaching bench, you'll backtrack, you'll dance, you'll say what it is that you need to say so that you don't seem like that guy. And
I really don't think he wants to coach anymore.
No, yes he does. Yes
he
does. Yes he does.
He does? You think so?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, you put in place something that turned into what you envisioned with Steve Kerr, like when they were saying he's the greatest shooter, like Stephen Curry and Clay are the greatest shooters before it's all said and done. They're going to be probably 2 of the greatest shooters to ever play this game. That was being developed under Mark Jackson. Now, don't get it twisted. The offensive flow and the way that they were playing, Steve Kerr took that to the next level. He took that to the next level. But you can't tell me that he don't still got that itch, because it's like, I was able to do that. And Golden State sucked when he got there. They sucked when he got there. They didn't play D. They were just like running up and down. Because you remember when Steph Curry was there, they had who was the other guard they had that just ran up and down and shot like threes?
Monty Ellis.
Monty Ellis.
Yeah. So that's where he came in and pretty much like said, "Okay, well, here's how we're gonna play. Here's how we're gonna do this." And then when they got rid of Monte Ellis and it started coming into fruition, and they always had like a big man. They didn't need him for scoring; they just needed him for defense. But they always had a big man who could set screens, roll to the basket, get some easy baskets, maybe block a couple of shots, discourage some people from coming in there. So Mark Jackson started it, and Steve Kerr took it to the next level. So he got that itch.
Stefan Curry was inches away from being Monty Ellis going to Milwaukee because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with that ankle. Remember, he had them ankle problems.
Yes.
He had one foot on the banana peel and the other one in Milwaukee faster than Monty Ellis.
Right. Because
He
they
got it
couldn't figure out. Yeah. Yep. And they couldn't figure out whether he was a point guard, whether he was a two guard. They were. It's like, what does he fit? What does he fit? And it was Mark Jackson that kind of like opened that up. And then Steve Kerr came in and said, hey, why rock the boat? This dude can hit shots from anywhere. He's consistent. I'm going to use that to my advantage. And I'm going to use him as the focal point of the offense. And so said, so done. So I'm sure Mark Jackson is like, yo, I need to get back on there so I can prove, you know what I'm saying? And if you listen to his basketball commentary, he's never apologetic about anything that he says.
No.
Sometimes he's telling the truth. He's telling the cold, hard truth about players, about their effort, about what he sees. You know what I'm saying? The fake hustle and this and that. He never apologizes for any of that.
No.
And he walked that back. He walked that back real quick. Sorry, I didn't see. I was very sorry.
Word on the street before we go is once Nick Nurse gets hired, then the other dominoes will start to fall.
Yeah. I don't know. Nick Nurse. I don't know if his I'm trying to see where his coaching style would fit.
He's gonna go to Milwaukee.
You think so?
Yeah. And then they'll fill in all the blanks after that.
I can see that. I can see that.
This. The only coach that I thought, and I hate to say this, that really deserved to be fired was Monty Williams. And I love Monty. You can't do what he's done the last 2 years on the cusp of going to a championship.
Hold up. That's Dom. You were in favor of keeping Doc in Philly?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
I'm just, you know that. I didn't want to get into that. You know how I feel. But I'm just saying, by what Monty Williams did, and I'm not that guy that always says it's the coach's fault. But if somebody got to fall on the sword for something, it had to be Monty Williams. You went to the NBA Finals. You were up 2-0, lost in the finals. You come back the next year, get mollywopped by 30 points at home and sent home, and then you do the same thing this year.
With a different team.
Yeah.
Same coach, and your big man refuses to play for you. That's the problem. Your big man.
And then you got to look at.
I
I know it's not fair, but your organization went out and bankrolled your whole bench. Monty Williams didn't do that part. Your organization went and bankrolled your whole bench, sort of like the Carmelo deal to get Durant. And then when shit hit the fan and you look down at the bench and there was nobody there, what was your excuse? But again, you can't blow big leads like that back-to-back years. No, I don't care who's on your team. And you did it at home.
Yep.
In elimination games.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I love Monty. He'll probably get another gig.
Yeah, Devin Booker. I got a question Devin Booker too, because everybody keeps saying he's that guy, and it's like
you're getting smoked back-to-back years.
Nah, you're really not that guy. Because when Luka came in there and was like, yeah, too small and this and that. You're supposed to be the guy in Phoenix, and you're at home, and you shrink. You know what I'm saying? When you guys were playing the Pelicans, and you started seeing, okay, well, you're capable of bringing the ball up and initiating the offense because you did it when Chris Paul was hurt. But you stood by and let Chris Paul be run down and worn out by all of those defenders that they were sending out. And you never said, hey, let me bring the ball up. Let me take, because whoever they put in front of me, I'm smoking them. Whoever they put in front of, they don't have a matchup for me. So let me initiate the offense because I know the ball is coming back to me. The ball is coming back to me regardless because I'm the number one viable option here. The ball is coming back to me whether I initiate and cut and come off a double screen. The ball is always coming back to me so that you don't have this wear and tear on you from the little dude and from all of these other guys wearing you down. You never stepped up. You just allowed that to happen. And then when you got to Dallas, Chris Paul was worn out. He was worn out. He had nothing left. and that's why you guys got blown out because he couldn't even give you 10 points a game. That's how tired he was. And then this year, okay, fine. You got rid of all your perimeter defenders. You didn't keep not one of them. And I can't imagine that the GM from the Brooklyn Nets, I can't imagine that he's so savvy that you could say no to his demands. You understand what I'm saying? So you got rid of Mikal Bridges and the Cam, your two primary perimeter defenders. You got rid of both of them to get Kevin Durant. And it's like, yeah, nah, you can have this person, you can have that person, but you can't have both of them.
Nah.
You can't have both of them. You can't have both of them.
Nope.
And it's like, so yeah, it was a combination of the GM's decisions, the fact that Monty Williams, for some strange reason, him and DeAndre Ayton, they can't see eye to eye, like that rib contusion or whatever. It's like, once again, it's like if you see that your big man is being handed his lunch, this guy's got a mid-range shot, he can take the ball off the dribble. You got to give him an opportunity. You got to give him an opportunity to get some of that back, so he can rebound and do all the other things that you need to. And you never once considered, okay, well, maybe I need to get this guy, make him a little bit more focal in our offense. Right. He's got the talent. From what everybody's saying, he's got the talent. He's got the goods. It's just a matter of using them.
Right.
Just a matter of using them. He ain't shooting threes. He's shooting mid-ranges and putting the ball on the floor, going to the basket. What more could you ask for?
Yeah. One more. Listen. Well said. Gentlemen, it's been real.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you for your listen. I didn't get a chance. You know what? We'll get into that next show. You better bring your thinking caps. We're going to be talking about retirement and also staying up on your health next week, along with a few other things.
Dom is the expert on that.
Yeah, good, because we're going to need that and how important.
I'm talking about retirement.
Yeah, no doubt. But we're gonna get the brothers and sisters there too. That should be, you know what I'm saying, like they should be up on it. I know. Well, I'll get into that next time. I'll give you a personal story about myself. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Dom, Bishop, Reggie, if he's still awake. You know what I'm saying? I think I heard him.
Why would I be asleep, dog? Why would I be asleep?
I don't know, man. I ain't hear nothing from you. That's why I thought you.
Hey, Reg, you working tomorrow?
No, sir.
He's on staycation, right?
That's right. Sure, you right.
He's on staycation. So with that being
said,
said,
before we go,
yes,
Bishop,
sir.
You see, I keep inviting these dudes south, man.
Man, these dudes from up north, they scared to come south.
Both of y'all are from up north. What are y'all talking about?
They scared to come. They scared to come south because they.
Well, I went to school with one of them, so
they think that if they come south, if they come south, like some of that hospitality is gonna rub off on them, and it ain't gonna fare well when they get back to New York.
Right, they might not want to go home.
Yeah, it's like,
I already know that.
You mean to tell me? It's like, yo, you mean to tell me that I can walk without looking behind my back?
Right.
And if somebody say hello, I can actually say hello back, and they don't want nothing from me.
Get out of here, man.
And they don't want nothing from me.
Bishop, they'll see somebody ride by in a car and wave at them.
He's only talking about himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He's only talking about himself.
Or like if you get to the intersect, you get to the walkway and somebody stops and allows you to cross.
Oh.
They ain't used to that.
Maybe they lost their mind.
Yeah, they ain't used to that.
You know what? Y'all are horrible.
Exactly.
All right, R wants to go to bed, man.
Once again, I want to thank you guys, man, for chopping it up with me. You know what I'm saying? Anita L, thanks for joining us in the chat room. We love the commentary, of course. And everybody else that tuned in and support. Got mad love. Thank you very much. Again, this is Untitled. And we'll be back again next week. And until then, peace and love.